Hello and welcome to Saturday. It's pretty late. I have been messing that up and I will continue to mess it up for the foreseeable future because I am horrible at maintaining a sleep schedule. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about something kind of interesting that happened today. So, for the past couple months, ever since my grandmother moved to Florida, we've been looking after the house for various things, and one of the things that occurred was that my mom and her sisters would go over to that house and just, uh, basically go through whatever stuff has been sitting, in the house and in the basement specifically for the past 40 plus years now. My grandmother is a bit of a hoarder, and their basement is a whole thing. One of the things that was in there were some various documents, some important things, like very, very important things, like, social security cards, some of my aunt's birth certificates, uh, marriage certificates, deeds, just wild stuff that you would find. And one of the things that my mom wanted me to do for, past couple months was to digitize them in some meaningful way. And that finally got done today. So here's some super cool stuff. Like, we have the, flight, that is extremely bright. The flight record for when my great grandmother flew in from Guyana to Trinidad and Tobago, and then flying to what is now New York. What is now New York, and flying to New York. We have that. There's some others, like there's birth certificates for my grandfather, I believe. That's what this is. Yep. Uh, just his birth certificate we have. I don't think we ever found the birth certificate for my grandmother, but we found my mom's, we found two of my aunts, um, we found, um, let's see, my one of my aunt's marriage certificates. We found, I think my great grandfather's birth certificates, death certificates. We found like several transportation documents, um, and it was just super cool going through all of that. Um, Being able to trace your family history is something like kind of hard to do, in at least my family, with people coming over from Guyana who originally lived in India, and then you have, the way our names work is that traditionally, before, like back in Guyana and back in India, you would take your father's first name as your last name. So all of that gets mixed up, and then as people move and it names are super easy to mess up, especially ethnic names. It gets butchered so often. The amount of misspellings that we've encountered today were insane, and it's just kind of hard to navigate that. But lucky for me, we're able to trace back at least 4 to 5, maybe 6 generations at this point, which is good enough. Um, and it's really neat seeing just like, oh, this piece of paper is from, you know um one of the oldest. It was like from 1948. It's labeled mystery because it's so damaged, and it says it's a birth certificate for somebody born in 1912 in British Guiana, and we genuinely have no idea who this belongs to, because my maternal great grandmother was born after this, and then also like my great great grandmother had lived in India up until like 1917, 1918. So we have no idea who this, like, who was born in 1912, which is kind of interesting. They were born to a Bagaloo and a Beha um, in 1940, and this was requested in 1948. Bagaloo was born in 1890, and Beha was born in 1883. So, you know, the name on this is like unrecognizable. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but like the name is like right here, somewhere like right there. Yeah, and I it says sex female. It says it's a duplicate certificate. Date of birth was October 31st, 1912. Place of birth is, I can only assume that's something Hall, and that's about it. Like, there's a date for the father's date of birth. Maybe? I have no idea. It says 81384 something 1890, and then some number BR 1883 for the mother. And then the date of the certificate, who knows what this says, but it ends in 1984. And it was just really neat just finding this, and maybe we'll be able to dig up some kind of information on this in the future, but for now it will remain a mystery. Regardless, I think that's where I might just call it for today. It's super cool just going through like old records and, like, basically just your family history in, paper form. And it's something that it's important to hold on to and, go, just like digitize your what would I call this? Like, yeah, digitize your family documents. That's the moral of the story. Anyway, that's what we're going to call it for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you tomorrow. And until then, later.